What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to another video. So in this video, I feel like I got some pretty valuable, good information for all of you turbocharged BMW owners out there. For me, I have a F30 335i with the N55. So in this video, I'm basically going to be showing you guys how to data log and how to read a data log. I do want to mention that I'm no in any way like an expert with a lot of experience on this. I've just barely kind of been researching and learning about all this stuff. But I do feel I've gained a pretty, good amount of knowledge to the point where I can kind of share it with you guys, just in case if you are new to this also and you want to learn how to do this. I also feel like it's important to learn how to do this if you are going to tune your turbocharged BMW. So to add some context here, about a month ago I took my F30 335i to the dyno. It is full bolt-on with a high flow catted downpipe on stage 2, or at least at the time it was on stage 291. It's on stage 291 ACN now with the map geared for low quality fuel since I'm in California here. But when I took it to the dyno, when it was just on the regular stage 291 map, I noticed that the power curve, or at least you guys noticed when I posted the video, that the power curve was not really good. There were a lot of dips up and down pretty frequently, suggesting that there was some sort of issue in there somewhere in the engine. At the time, I had no idea about any of all of what I'm about to tell you guys, so it was all new to me. But a lot of you guys were suggesting that I do some data logs and possibly switch the map, because it could be because I was on just the regular stage 291 map when I needed to be on the ACN map like I am now. Could also have been a boost leak, or maybe I just needed to change the spark plugs and ignition coils, which I did recently also. So I dug really deep into how to data log and how to read it so that I can get an idea of what was causing all that. Maybe I took a data log right after I posted that video and you guys were suggesting to do a data log. So I have a data log when I was on just the regular stage 291 map. I took another data log after I switched maps to the stage 291 ACN map. And then in this video, I'm going to be taking a third data log now that I've changed the ignition coils and the spark plugs to the one step colder NGK spark plugs gaps to 0.022. Before, I actually just had the original OEM Bosch spark plugs gap to like 0.032 or 33. But I feel like it made a pretty nice difference. The car drives amazing and everything now, but I just want to see the data logs and kind of compare the previous data logs that I took on when I was just on the regular stage 91 map, and then when I switched maps, and then now that I've changed the spark plugs and all that. So yeah, that adds a little bit of context there and why I'm doing all this, and just kind of giving you guys an idea of what the state of my car is in right now. So right now, my car is on stage 291 ACN with a high flow catted downpipe, intake charge pipe, upgraded intercooler. So those are all of the performance mods I have on the car right now. Since I think I mentioned I'm tuned on boot mode. Those maps I was mentioning was from boot mode. You can data log in boot mode, so that is what I'm going to be using to data log. You can also data log in MHD, but I don't know what it's like since I've never used it. I've only had experience with boot mode, so that is what I'm going to be using in this video on my laptop here. So assuming most of you guys have already flashed a tune from boot mode or have a license with boot mode, I have my OBD2 to Ethernet cable here, which I suggest getting if you are planning to flash your car with boot mode. Let's get my laptop here. Here I have my laptop. I have a Windows, so just want to put that out there. Go ahead and turn the ignition on. Put my seatbelt on so the car doesn't go to sleep. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen with you guys. So here I'm on in my account on boot mode. Go ahead and activate the boot mode agent. Alright, so everything is connected now. So to data log and look at like all of that information, just go to menu and it's in dashboard. And here are all of the default parameters that are automatically there. So For those of you who like have no idea what data logging is and have never heard of it, data logging is basically just like taking measurements of the car's, all of the like measurements that the car reads in the engine, like boost pressure, the target boost, ignition timing, all of like the engine temperature, coolant temperature, literally everything, all of the measurements that the ECU is reading in the engine. But you obviously wouldn't need to pay attention to all of those parameters. It's just like there's only like a few parameters that you really need to focus on to see if there's any sort of issue with your engine function based on like what tune you have and all that. So here are all the parameters that can be read through the data log, through this program or whatever. It's kind of hard to read here in this format, so I'm just going to go over to this little button here, the configure place here, where you can select all the parameters and measurements that you want to be read in the data log. So if you go here, this is like all the default stuff that's automatically activated. So you have like the boost pressure, the engine speed, the high pressure fuel pump measurements, target and actual, ignition timing, oil temp, throttle angle, all of this stuff here. You could add additional stuff. You could add additional stuff in other channels, but most of these you don't really need. So the parameters that you really should be focused on to, you know, see if there's some sort of an issue on why the engine isn't running efficiently or with full power potential. So the first one is the boost pressure here, the boost pressure target, and then the actual boost that's being recorded, which is under MAP here. So you want to pay attention to if the boost pressure target is the same as the actual boost or pressure that's being recorded. I'll be able to like give you guys a better like example of what it's supposed to look like when I actually look at the data logs. As you can see up here, I have the data logs ready to show you guys later in the video. Another thing you want to pay attention to is the ignition timing here. That'll tell you if you are running bad fuel or you have a bad spark plug or ignition coil. You also could be paying attention to, depending if you're running E85, you'd want to pay attention to the high pressure fuel pump target and actual. You want to make sure that those are pretty much at the same level. If you're not running E85, you don't really have to worry about that. Like, I'm not running E85 right now, so I'm not really focused on that. I'm more focused on the boost pressure and the ignition timing. So the boost pressure target and actual, if they're not the same, that could indicate that you have a boost leak. For the ignition timing, if like there's a bunch of timing issues and they're not all on the same page, you could, like I said, be running bad fuel. Or if it's just on one cylinder, that's what the numbers here, so cylinder 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6. If it's just on one cylinder, that could just be because you have a bad spark plug or ignition coil, where you need to change your spark plugs and ignition coils. And then this one here, the wastegate duty cycle, that'll point out if your turbo's like overworking itself, because it'll help you identify if you have a boost leak, if this is like not at the appropriate level and it's higher than usual. Again, I'll go over these when I actually like do the data log and I look at my actual data logs, and I'll explain it to you guys more in detail. So how do you do a data log? So basically, you're gonna want to find like an open road in your city, a straightaway that doesn't have a lot of cars, so that, you know, you're not putting anyone in danger by just driving too fast, because you are gonna have to do like a full-on pull with the throttle all the way open, the pedal all the way down. So once you find like a straightaway and you're ready to do the pull, you're gonna want to go down to the bottom here and start the log by pressing this green button. But before you actually do the log, you're going to want to get the car in 4th gear and get up to about 2,500 RPMs. As soon as you're at around 25 RPMs, you can go ahead and start the log and press on the gas pedal all the way down. You're going to want to try to do it at the same time, as close as you can. And you're going to want to keep the log going until you get all the way up to 6,500 RPMs, still in 4th gear. And as soon as you get to 6,500 RPMs, you can go ahead and stop the log by pressing the same button again. And then you're finished. That is it. You just recorded a data log but you're gonna want to run it a couple more times, like around 3 to 4 times, just so you know you get a pretty good amount of logs, accounting for, you know, maybe you made a mistake or an error or something, and just to see if they're all the same throughout all 4 logs. So if you're using your laptop, obviously you're gonna lose Wi-Fi when you go out and drive around. So I just like to use my personal hotspot on my phone here and connect the internet to my phone. That way, like, I always have internet. So I'm just gonna do that now. So now I'm connected to my phone, so we're good there. So now I can just keep my laptop on the whole time, connected to the internet while I'm out driving around before I get to the spot where I'm gonna do the data log. So now that I've explained kind of how to data log and what to select when you're setting up your dashboard here, and that I've connected my phone to my laptop, I'm about ready to go out and actually take a data log for you guys so I can show you. But before I do here, I'm gonna go ahead and just turn on the car. So if you actually look now at my screen, you can see it's recording all of the measurements that I have set here, the parameters, and then let you know that everything is connected and it is taking a reading of all of the parameters that you have here. So once you've confirmed that all the readings are being read here on your laptop, we're ready to go out and take the data log. So I'm coming up on my little straightaway here that I'm going to do the data log on. So right now I'm in the manual sport mode, because remember I have to be in 4th gear. And then I'm going to get up to 25 RPMs and then start the log at the same time, and then run the log all the way until I get up to 6,500 RPMs, then stop the log. And you're going to want to be in the Sport Plus mode, so the sportiest setting. Alright, so I'm about to do the data log right now. Get to 4th gear. I'm going to get up to 25 and get ready to start the log. There we go. Sketchy because you have one hand over here on the laptop, one hand on the steering wheel, trying to pay attention to the RPMs that you're at. But I think I did it. I think I got one there. I'm gonna go ahead and do a couple more, so I'll probably just do 3 total here. So get up to 25 RPMs. Start the log. Alright, so I'm back here in my garage and I ended up taking a total of 4 data logs. So now I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys each of the data logs from each of the 3 sessions that I had. Quickly just share my screen here. If you want to go to, so after you take the data logs and you want to go look at the graph, just go to data logs and they're all there for you right here. I already opened up mine, so I have 2 data logs from each of the 3 sessions. So the first 2 here are from when I was just on the stage 291 map, and then the second 2 here in the middle are from when right after I just flashed the car with the stage 291 ACN map, and then the last 2 right here are from the ones I just took from this 3rd session after just changing the spark plugs and ignition coils. So taking a look at the first graph here when I was just on the regular stage 291, as you can see right there at the top, it'll tell you which map you were on when you took the data log. Initially, like, nothing really jumped out at me when I saw these. It didn't seem like I had a boost leak, so I immediately kind of threw that one out as one of the reasons why my dyno graph was so like bad and all over the place. The cool thing about these graphs is you can actually like isolate which parameters you just want to see on the graph. So for example, let's just focus on the boost pressure target and then the actual boost that was recorded in the engine. So just go to deselect all and then just only select the boost pressure target and then the actual boost that was recorded. And as you can see, the boost is pretty much where it should be at. It doesn't look like there's a boost leak. I'm pretty sure there'd be like a drastic dip, or there'd be a huge difference in the target boost and the actual boost that was recorded. The differences are pretty minimal. If the actual boost that was recorded is like 1 or 2 psi less or 1 or 2 psi more, it's really not a big deal. That's normal for the most part. It's only like there's like a huge difference, like I would say like more than 3 or 4, then you could possibly have a boost leak somewhere in the system. But from what I can tell here, it doesn't seem like there was ever a boost leak. If you go to like the other day logs, when I switch the maps and I just do the boost pressure and the actual boost, nothing really significant here. It basically follows the same pattern. So yeah, I don't think I ever had a boost leak. If you look at the newest data log here, target boost, and then where's that? There. Yeah, pretty much matches with the target boost throughout the whole time, except at the beginning there. So I don't think there was ever an issue with that. The only thing I think there was an issue with, and there still is an issue with, is the ignition timing. I'm still not too like knowledgeable on what exactly the ignition timing is supposed to be. From what I was seeing, they're all supposed to be like the same degrees for it to be running like correctly and efficiently. As you can see, this is when I just had the Station 91 Octane map. They're kind of all over the place, the ignition timing degrees at the beginning here, and then it kind of like evens out with one cylinder being off. And then after I switched the map, it seemed like it got a bit smoother with the ignition timing. It was all pretty much the same with a few like differences, and then at the end here started kind of going all over the place. I'm not exactly, like I said, sure what it's supposed to look like when it's healthy, when the engine's running healthy. If you look at the newest map here, the ignition timing is kind of all over the place here in the beginning, and then it starts to like even out towards the end of the pole. So, I mean, I'm honestly not 100% sure about what to conclude about the ignition timing. Maybe you guys can help me understand this, for those of you who may be more knowledgeable on this stuff. So yeah, that's pretty much it about the ignition timing. And then looking at the high pressure fuel pump reading, target versus actual, let's isolate those here. As you can see, it's pretty much exactly at the same level as target, which is where it's supposed to be at. That's how you know you don't really have an issue with your high pressure fuel pump. But like I said, this is more for people who, if you're running E85 within some sort of E30 map or E whatever map, this is what you want to focus on when you're running 85. If the difference between the target and the actual is like 1,000, then that lets you know you have possibly a high pressure fuel pump crash and you need to upgrade your high pressure fuel pump. And if you look at the newest map here with just the high pressure fuel pump, it's basically the same thing. It's exactly on target, so that's good. Let's see what else can we point out here. From what I got out of my research, if you are on like the stage 2 or stage 1 map on boot mode like me, you really only need to focus on your boost pressure and your ignition timing. Those are like the most important parts, because the boost pressure will let you know if you have a boost leak. The ignition timing will let you know if you're running bad. or low quality fuel and you just switch maps, or if you have a bad spark plug or bad coil, that'll point that out. It isn't really until you like start running E85 and higher horsepower numbers in your engine that you really like should be focusing on this other stuff. So yeah, that's kind of like a basic general understanding of how to read one of these data log graphs. I'm pretty sure there's a lot more to these graphs, but like I said, I haven't become an expert yet. I'm still learning here. I just got a general understanding of all this, like I said. So looking at or comparing all of these graphs, all these data logs, I can't really say that the engine's running better based off these graphs. The engine feels like it's running better, honestly, after changing the spark plugs and ignition coils. But on here, it doesn't really show that significant of a difference. It still seems like, I don't know, it still seems like the ignition timing isn't like where it's supposed to be at. Like I said, I don't know that much yet. Feel free to chime in the comments if you have anything else to add about the ignition timing, if something I'm missing here. So feel free to like add anything else you guys might see in these data logs that I don't see because I just am unaware yet. For those of you who are more aware and more knowledgeable on this stuff, feel free to like point something out that I don't see, because I really want to learn and I really want to know more and understand all this. So yeah. Alright guys, so that is a basic overview of how to read a data log from a beginner's perspective here like me, and also how to take a data log from a beginner's perspective here. So like I said, I don't know, I'm not an expert on this stuff. I've just been doing quite a bit of research and I feel like I gained enough knowledge to share it with you guys. So don't take this as like facts or that like I know what I'm talking about. I'd like to think I know what I'm talking about, but I'm still learning, like I said. So just bear with me here. I like to just try to inform you guys because I feel like there's a lot of you out there who are in my position who are still learning or just getting into all this stuff, and I just want to give my kind of perspective and my understanding and my experiences with these things. So if you guys have anything to add, those of you who are experts and more experienced in all of this stuff, please comment down anything, literally anything about what I just talked about, anything I missed, anything I got wrong maybe, because that is a possibility. So where do I go from here after doing all this data logging and switching maps and changing the spark plugs? Well, I'm planning to actually run E85 on my F30 here. I know I said in my other video when I actually did the dyno, I said I wasn't gonna like add any more performance mods, or because I was okay with the power numbers that it put out, which was 353 wheel horsepower and 373 wheel torque. I was satisfied with that, but as I started researching into data logging, I also kind of started looking into running E85. I thought it'd be way more complicated, but it actually isn't that complicated, and it's pretty simple. All you have to do is just find your correct mixtures of E85 and whatever gas you have. I have 91, so I'm gonna have to mix E85 with the 91 gas, and then just simply flash the E30 stage 2 map that's on boot mode, and then that's it. So that's the reason why I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna just try it because it doesn't require me to like install some sort of complex performance part. You literally just mix the fuel and then flash the map, and that's it. So yeah, that's why I'm going to be trying E85 and running the stage 2 E30 map that's on boot mode. So I'm pretty excited for that. Based off what I was seeing from my research, you could gain like an additional 40 to 50 wheel horsepower just from running E85 and flashing the map. So I will be doing a video on how I do that and how the car is after I do that. So look out for a video when I do all that. So yeah guys, that's pretty much going to wrap up this video. Hopefully it was very informative to those of you out there who are also learning this stuff, and hopefully it was pretty accurate in what I was saying. But like I said, feel free to comment down if you have any questions, or if you have anything to add, or if you have anything to correct that I said. Comment down so that we all know and are learning here. So yeah guys, thank you guys for watching. If you enjoy this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you are new here for more videos like this. Otherwise, I'll see you guys in the next video.